All right, today we are going to break down the absolute core principles of one of the most powerful books out there on self-improvement, James Clear's Atomic Habits. We're going to see exactly how incredibly tiny changes can lead to some seriously remarkable results.
But first, let's just start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. Why is it so hard to make a new habit stick? You know the drill, right? You start with all this motivation, a new diet, a gym routine, you swear you're going to read more, and then, a few weeks later, you're right back where you started. So what gives?
Well, to answer that, James Clear gives us this brilliant analogy. Just picture a plane taking off from LA, and it's headed for New York City. Now, imagine the pilot adjusts the nose of the plane just 3.5 degrees to the south. I mean, that's such a tiny change, nobody on board would feel a thing. It's almost nothing. But over thousands of miles, that tiny shift starts to compound, and the plane doesn't land in New York anymore. It lands in Washington, D.C. And that is the whole point. Your daily habits are just like that 3.5-degree shift. They seem so minor, so small day to day, but they are absolutely determining your life's final destination.
You know, the math on this is kind of staggering. If you get just 1% better at something every single day for a year, you don't end up 365% better. No, because of the magic of compounding, you'll be nearly 38 times better than when you started. That's the kind of power we're going to unpack here. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with that power of 1%. Then, we'll get into why systems are so much more important than goals. After that, we'll talk about how to actually change your identity, the 4 practical laws for behavior change, and finally, how you can start right now with the 2-minute rule.
Okay, so let's jump right into the big foundational idea of the whole book. Success isn't about some once-in-a-lifetime transformation, it's really just the product of your daily habits. It's about consistently showing up, not about one single heroic effort.
And the reason we give up so often is that we expect our progress to be a straight line. You know, you go to the gym for a week, you look in the mirror, and nothing's changed. So you get discouraged. Clear calls this the valley of disappointment. It's that huge, frustrating gap between the effort you're putting in and the results you think you should be seeing. But the truth is, the most powerful outcomes are always delayed. You just have to stick with it long enough to break through that plateau.
This brings us to what might be the biggest mindset shift in the entire book. We are all taught to be goal-oriented, right? But Clear argues we should be system-oriented instead. And trust me, this is a total game changer.
So what's the difference? Well, goals are about the result you want to achieve. A system is the process that'll get you those results. A goal is just a momentary change. Once you hit it, what's next? But a system, that's all about continuous improvement. It lets you keep playing the game and, actually enjoy the process itself.
And this quote just nails it. Think about it for a second. Every single athlete at the Olympics wants to win a gold medal. Every person applying for a job wants to get it. The goal itself doesn't separate the winners from the losers. What does? It's their commitment to a system of tiny, continuous improvements. At the end of the day, you fall to the level of your systems.
Okay, this is where we get to the most profound part of the whole framework. Because true, lasting behavior change isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are.
So Clear lays out these 3 layers of change. Most of us, we start from the outside and try to work our way in. We focus on the outcome. I want to lose 20 pounds. Then, maybe we think about the process. Okay, I'll start a new gym routine. But the most effective way to change is to flip that upside down. Start from the inside out, with your identity. The goal isn't just to run a marathon. The real goal is to become a runner.
And this is exactly why so many habits fail to stick. If deep down you see yourself as someone who hates exercise, it doesn't matter how much you force yourself onto that treadmill. Your actions are totally out of sync with your self-image, and it's just not going to last. The real goal is to align your habits with the type of person you want to become.
So how do we actually build these identity-based habits? Well, this is the fun part. Clear gives us this incredibly simple, practical toolkit, the 4 laws of behavior change.
Okay, so first, you have to understand the basic habit loop. Every single habit we have follows these 4 simple steps. There's a cue, which is a trigger, that leads to a craving, which is the motivation, that drives a response, the habit itself, which delivers a reward. Think about your phone. It buzzes. That's the cue. You crave knowing who messaged you. You pick it up and check, the response. And you satisfy that little bit of curiosity, the reward. The 4 laws are just a simple way to hack this loop. And the beauty of this framework is just how elegant it is. To build a good habit, you want to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just flip it. You make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. Simple as that.
Let's break that down, starting with law number 1, make it obvious. Your environment is like this invisible hand that's constantly guiding your behavior. Get this. A hospital wanted to improve people's dietary habits. So they just put water bottles in all the drink stations, not just the ones with soda. The result? Water sales jumped by 25%. The lesson for us is simple. Redesign your environment. Make the cues for your good habits totally impossible to miss.
All right, for law number 2, there's this really clever strategy called temptation bundling. It's all about linking something you want to do with something you need to do. It basically makes the habit you're trying to build way more appealing.
For example, this one engineering student linked watching Netflix, which he loved to do, with exercising, which he knew he needed to do. You can do the exact same thing. Maybe you only listen to your favorite true crime podcast when you're out for a run. Or you only get a pedicure while you're clearing out that dreaded email inbox. You're making the habit attractive by tying it to a craving you already have. Law number 3 is all about the path of least resistance. Let's face it, we're all wired to do what's easy. So you have to reduce the friction for your good habits. The woman with the greeting card box, she made it completely effortless to be thoughtful. And the reverse is true for bad habits. If you want to watch less TV, add a little friction. Unplug it after you use it. Just that tiny extra step makes you pause and think, do I really want to watch this right now?
And finally, law number 4, make it satisfying. A habit is only going to stick around if it feels good. But the problem is, a lot of good habits have delayed rewards. So the trick is to find a way to attach some immediate gratification to it. That nice-smelling soap made a boring chore feel a little more pleasant. The trip to Europe fun gives you a little win right now for a long-term goal. That immediate feeling of success is what makes you want to come back and do it again.
Okay, so this is all great theory, but where on earth do you actually start? Inertia is a crazy powerful force. This final section is the key to overcoming it.
The answer is the 2-minute rule. The idea here is to make your new habit so ridiculously easy to start that you can't possibly say no. Any new habit you want to build should be scaled down to a version that takes less than 2 minutes to actually do.
Now, obviously, this isn't the final goal. It's just the gateway. I mean, anyone can read one page. Anyone can put on their running shoes. The goal of those first 2 minutes isn't about getting results. It's about mastering the art of just showing up. Because once you've started, it's so much easier to keep going.
And this is just so powerful because it brings us right back full circle back to identity. Every single time you put on your running shoes, you are casting a vote for being a runner. Every time you read just one page, you're casting a vote for being a reader. And all these little votes, they start to add up and build the evidence of your new identity.
So the question isn't just about what you want to achieve. It's about who you want to become. With every tiny action, every small choice, you're casting a vote. So who will you vote to be today?